Be real, be true, be honest, be you. Peace, love, and light.
Hey, this is Cynthia from Inspire Destiny and Inspire Unity Movement. So this is the second installment of self-love, because it's something that I'm frequently asked about, where people feel like they are loving themselves, but then when they're attracting things into their life that aren't serving them, they're not learning particular lessons, and they really feel like they're being victimized when they're really got the power and control inside them. They're just not yet aware of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about talking about self-love. Last video, I spoke about the definition of the love that I'm referring to, which was totally unconditional. So today I'm going to refer to a little bit about my definition of self. So when I talk about self, I'm not talking about your body, just your body. I'm not talking about like your personality or all of your strengths, your weaknesses. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about you as a whole. So you as your essence is, in my definition, is a conscious awareness. What keeps you alive, what keeps you, when you focus that awareness, what is within that awareness. So there's many aspects of this awareness. So it could be part of your ego, there could be different parts of your personality, there could be your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, you've got your memories. These are all different parts that accumulate us as your body. There's different parts of your body. So when I talk about self-love, I'm talking about every part of you. So it definitely has to encompass all of you if it's unconditional. Now there's parts of us that we struggle to accept. They're usually the parts that get triggered in us by others. Unless it's triggering a memory, it can be triggering something in us that we don't like, or we don't feel comfortable, or we don't feel accepted, whether it be we don't accept it for our own reasons, or we don't accept it because at some point or another it wasn't accepted in us. So this is something that has many layers. But moving on from, the self, what else is there to do to determine if you are loving yourself, or how you can further love yourself when it comes to different practices, when it comes to different methods, particularly what I've learned myself. Particularly what I've learned myself is that when you practice regular awareness in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions, you start to see patterns and behaviors. And when you start to see these patterns and behaviors, you have a power to be able to shift them. Particularly when you start doing it, you become more aware. One of the things that I do that helps with both of them is meditation. Now, I don't mean meditation in the form of sitting in legs crossed, which is the lotus position, doing a mudra, which is the different hand positions that you do. So you can do this type of hand position on your knees, or the one where you have it at your heart. There's all different mudras that can be used. Now, these are good techniques for concentration, and that's the idea of meditation. It creates this heightened sense of awareness because you're focusing and concentrating your inner self, which is your pure consciousness, onto something outside, and you're forming a disciplinary action that helps you to improve this skill and raise this awareness. As you do, you form a level of self-mastery. Within this is a level of self-love. Now, what it means when you have this deepened level of self-love is you have more self-empowerment. You feel like you have a level of self-mastery because you feel like you have more choice. When things happen, you see how you've had an involvement in that situation, rather than turning around and, reprimanding yourself and beating up, an aspect of yourself, which is your inner child. and that's not going to have a positive outcome. You're just going to end up with feelings of guilt and shame, and they will manifest in self-sabotage, which I know a lot of us can be familiar with doing. Can be, example, in a relationship, we end up in a relationship, someone does something and not necessarily directed at us, but we may feel like it's because of us, or it's a pattern that we've seen before with someone else, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe we're not worthy, maybe we're not good enough, I'm going to push them away, they don't deserve me, and we get into our ego and we start thinking, well, we're separate from them, we're different from them, either we're not good enough for them and then they're not good enough for us, because we need to try and make ourselves be eased of that feeling of, you know, we're not worthy, because deep down we know we are worthy. But then there's all of these disconnections where we can actually feel that true sense of worth. So we're like grabbing at temporary things that make us believe that we feel worthy for a short period of time, particularly on the surface. So what I suggest to you today for your self-love is to use a practice of meditation. Now, I don't mean if you don't like sitting down in stillness, because initially if you don't have a meditation practice, that is going to be really challenging, and if you decide to do this, that's great. It becomes less challenging. The reason it's challenging is because it's a new habit that you're not used to doing, and the benefit will be as you consistently do it. So you can, if you do that, you can focus on breathing as an anchor, you can focus on a flame, you can focus on an image in your mind, you can focus on a sound. Just try and focus on something. Breathing is quite a good one, because it's actually going to help you to relax while you're breathing. There is guided meditations on YouTube. There is courses that you can do in quite a lot of countries. In Australia, if you live in Australia, there's something called Vipassana. It's like a 10-day silence retreat that teaches you a particular sort of meditation, but it's very intense, and you're not allowed to talk or look at people. You meditate for long periods of time. But if you are interested, it's a Vipassana, Vipassana, and it's the technique that the original as far as we've got scripted, the original Buddha, Siddhartha Buddha, taught people before Buddhism existed. He just taught this to people, and it was non-denominational. You can be any religion. It's just a form of self-awareness and mastery that gets taught. The reason for not speaking is so people can't lie, because it makes it hard for you to release, you know, any negative feelings around the actions you take that you don't feel empowered to take, that even though you feel like you have no control over yourself because it's a habit, you still feel guilty, and that leads to you self-sabotaging as well. So there's the Vipassana, there's online meditation, there's, you know, heart meditations, there's relaxation meditations, there's deeper awareness meditations, all these different things that are out there for you. If you have any comments about any other resources to use for meditation, then please comment below. And if you find this beneficial, or you want to see more of my self-love series or some of my other series, please subscribe. Some other things you can do is walking. Walking is a great form of meditation. Just breathe and focus on what you're doing. Drawing can be a good one, particularly if you get what you can find now. So those colouring books, they have the mandala colouring books. It just gets you into a relaxed state where you're really focused. You're not doing too many things at once, and you're really enabling yourself to practice that state of mastery where you're utilizing the you of your awareness and focusing it on one main thing. You're being empowered, you're being in the control seat. So this is what's so important, and to practice it consistently. When I started my meditation practice, I do close my eyes and breathe, and there's sometimes I visualize. It started off as 9 minutes, and then sometimes it was 5 minutes if I didn't have time. I was very busy working, going to the gym, visiting friends. I was studying at the same time while working full-time. I caught public transport to and from work, which took up to an hour to and from. So I had a lot of things going on, and I still managed to fit in between 5 to 9 minutes and sometimes more. And it benefited me in so many ways. So with the self-love thing, once you start doing that, it's like a commitment and a ritual to yourself, which is so imperative for us to have these times that are just for us, even if it's just a short period of time. We commit to ourselves, and then when that is a habit, we can grow on that, and we can add other things like changing a specific thing in our diet, so we're loving our body more. Not in a superficial way, but just in a way of nourishing ourselves and making ourselves feel really good, so we can get the things that we deserve and feel the way that we deserve and feel enlivened and not have things affect us so negatively throughout our day due to the fact that we're not nourishing ourselves and allowing our body to work at its optimal speed. Like if it's a car, if you don't put the right thing in your car, it's not going to work as effectively, it's not going to do as much what you would like it to do, it's not going to last as long. Same with our bodies. So love your body the same way as you would love yourself. When you start to meditate or do something focused, you'll start to become more aware of your thoughts, aware of your words. Your words are usually a reflection of what you're thinking, even if it's sometimes on a level that you're not yet aware of. If it's something negative, that's not good for you, and you're going to attract people that do that. Particularly if people hear you say that, they're going to see it as acceptable, and you're going to be accepting it because it's what you do to yourself. So I hope you've learned something from what I've said. Have an amazing day. Love yourself, really do. You're all amazing. Peace, love, and light.